Welcome to another episode of Big Bun Game Club. We've been playing Stealth Bastard for a week or so by this point.
Wait a
Oh,
second, Theo. Okay, I gotta interrupt you because
oh
the
shit.
game is not called Stealth Bastard. It's called Theo, my boy. It's called Stealth Bastard
Oh, bastard. Oh,
because it's British people because it was like tactical espionage asshole. So it's
oh,
British,
okay.
and you can tell by their fucking shitty humor that they're British.
I did like some of the dialogue that
Oh
shows
yeah,
up. Like it's pretty good. There's one that was like, "You would do better if I wasn't watching," right? It's like, oh,
yeah.
like there's
No, it's
that,
kind of
and
funny, but you're just like you snarky bitches. Like exactly what you'd expect from British people.
yeah, it even like shows up in some of the designs of the stages. Now, I thought it was just gonna be a pure espionage game, but it's more of a puzzle game than a stealth
Yeah.
game, which is good. It kind of have you ever played Catherine?
I haven't.
Ah, okay, because that was the game I played when last year or so when they re-released it on the Switch. They put that on sale, so I was like, okay, I'll check this out. And that's a whole like puzzle game. It's like you're moving blocks to try to get on top of a tower. And I thought I was gonna hate this game initially because I saw it on the PS3 and I was like, oh, puzzle games, nah, get this out of here.
You're
But
talking about Catherine right now, right?
yeah, Catherine. So I didn't like puzzle games at all. But when I played it, I was like, oh, this is actually like really rewarding. The puzzles that you would figure out, there's many answers. Like it's really creative. With Stealth Bastard, whatever. But like,
You
what
gotta
is
do a
it?
British accent.
I can't
So
do.
Boston. You can't do a British accent. Mine's not good either.
Yours is better than mine. Yours is better than mine. Mine is like I don't know. I don't know. I don't like it. But
You can say it the American way then.
yeah. Well, I am an American. God damn
Well,
it.
actually, what's the Greek? If you had a Greek accent, how do you say bastard in
Oh, I
Greek
don't.
accent?
I wouldn't know. I'd assume. I don't know. I can't do any accent at all. I feel like if I tried, it would just sound more illiterate than an accent. It'd be like I don't know. It'd be awful.
All right, don't embarrass yourself then.
But anyways, with Stealth Bastard, the the puzzles were actually like really like at the beginning I thought it was like stupidly easy. It's like okay, just move a block over here. All right, you're done. Move on. But when you get to like the boss stages and then you go to the next level, it's like okay, now we're gonna introduce like sensor puzzles, sensor switches. And I started like seeing in the back of my mind, like, oh, this is gonna get like fucking mind numbing near the end. There were already some stages where I just stared at the screen, like, what do I do? And thinking, like, okay, I know. Some of them are such bullshit nonsense where it's like, I just had to jump, and the jump I was doing wasn't like long enough to make it. And it's like,
Right.
oh, I have to do, like, it's just a timing thing that I just have to do over and over. But,
Yeah. This game is really good about kind of guiding you in the right direction, so you know it does a good job of not telling you what to do, but like giving you a good example of like, okay, this is how you're going to use this mechanic in the future, so you really understand it. You know what I mean?
yeah, like, that's how I feel like when you're doing the levels where you're doing the or you're like kind of cooperating with the bot that can kill you. That kind of put a lot of seeds in my head, thinking like, okay, I just beat this one area where it was a boss stage, and you had to kind of guide the bot to go on one side of the screen, then guide him down. And I was like, and I knew that immediately, but every time I just couldn't get the timing right because the boss laser would always catch me. So I did look at a video and I was like, oh, you're supposed to like duck and just kind of move at the very last minute before the big laser catches you just to
I
kill
think I know
you.
what level you're talking about, but is it the one where there's like that little bit of daylight, so you have to turn off all the lights before you can get to the last terminal?
You it's
Like
like
there's the boss like camera or whatever is looking all around, and there's like the terminal is so obvious to get to, but there's like a little bit of daylight, so if you go to it, you immediately get killed.
yeah,
Is that the
like
one you're talking
and
about?
there's like a sensor that moves back and forth and you had to
Yeah,
step on a switch
and you
for it
have
to
to
stop
drop it
and
on there, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's that one, and that one I was like, okay, I knew immediately it was the bot. I just had to look up like, was it the timing that was off? Like, was there something else I'm missing? But other than that, like a lot of these puzzles are self-explanatory, but it doesn't feel as cheap either. Like Catherine, there were some puzzles that I just couldn't figure out that I had to watch a video just to see how they got to this one part of the tower. But this one was like the only thing I just got caught was just stuff that was just, oh, I just have to jump. Oh, I just have to do this. It's like very small stuff that's like, it's not really like I'm not getting the puzzle. It's more like I'm not performing the action in that puzzle.
Right. Right. Like I can think I know what you're talking about because like I can think of one where you have to like have you gotten to the part where like the sensors like you block one sensor, it opens up another one.
Yeah.
So you have to go into that one, and then that'll open up another one, and you have to go to the next one to keep like triggering them as a chain reaction.
Yeah, it's like going like in an order.
Right. So the one that I can think of that was like that was where you had to make a jump, but you couldn't jump. You had to just run off. Otherwise, you'd break the trip wire. So it was like you're on a platform, and there's a wire, there's a sensor, and there's a sensor going vertically, and you
Oh
have to
yeah,
just
that one
run
was
off of it.
that one was getting me so fucking mad because like there's like a spinning wheel on the bottom, right?
Yeah,
Like
yep.
because I would go down there perfectly. I'm like, okay, I'm going perfectly down, not touching the controller, and either I might have like must have nudged the D-pad a little too much, and then he just kind of moves off, and I just got killed during that. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh fuck this. I do like that the checkpoints are not like they're fair and they're good points. It's like okay, you went to you went too far or something. Okay, you're just right before that. But it's not like, oh, you could just it's not easy either. Like the checkpoints are not like super forgiving, but it's like it's right where you're at the point where it's like I don't want to redo half the progress. Like
Right. Which is another great thing about this game because it's like you get a letter grade at the end. So it's like sometimes I fight the urge just to restart the whole level because I want to get a better grade. But I'm just like, let me just finish it and then I'll go back and play it again.
yeah.
Because it's like you die and there's a checkpoint. You're like, I could have just done this perfectly though, and you want to like reset, but I just keep
That
playing.
that's kind of how like Hello Miami is too. Like you play that and it's like, oh, I could do better than this, and then you just want to go back. But
Right.
that has harsher checkpoints. I think it's only
Oh,
between
absolutely.
floors. It's
Right.
the only
Yeah.
time you get a checkpoint.
Mhm.
But but I guess that game makes a little bit more sense. You're not gonna like kill a room, then leave the door, then die, then start there. That'd be kind of silly. But
Yeah.
uh,
Um. Yeah, and it's this thing that's fun about the thing that's moderately annoying about this game, and I think it's gonna get worse in the later levels, is when you have to keep redoing certain platforming sections. You know
yeah,
what I mean by that?
yeah.
Like where it's like you get through an obstacle, but then to get back, you have to go through it again.
Oh,
And you're like, "Oh my god, I just did this." Like one that sticks out to me, like I'm just thinking about it, is the one you have to it's like it's that tripwire thing again, right? And but you have to like jump over spikes and stay on them at the same time. You know what I'm talking about? There's like or like a
oh.
spinning wheel. I don't remember what it is, but it's like you have to
I
grab onto a ledge and then jump over it to make sure it stays lit up because the blade is blocking them. So you could either run straight and duck under, but you can't do that because you need to keep the sensors tripped.
I might know what you mean. I think I know what stage that is.
But you have to go through it like 3 times
Uh
because you have to keep backtracking.
yeah, okay, yeah, that one I remember.
Yeah.
There was that
So it's
one,
like
and
I don't
then
want to do this again. Fuck.
there's one where it's like there's three. You lower one down, then you lower two, then you like raise two. The middle one goes up as well. Like it's
Yeah, with the robot,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
yeah,
that's the one I'm talking about.
okay.
Yeah, that
I,
level stunk. I actually at one point I had to restart the whole level. That was a time I didn't rage quit, but I was like, it's time to stop playing because I got to the checkpoint, but somehow I turned off a sensor, and to get back to where I was, I'd have to send the robot back down and up again. And I was like, all right, I quit, and then I just played the next day.
yeah, that was like the boss stages were kind of like that too. It's like, oh, I'll play this for a while. Then I got stumped, and it's like, oh, I'm just gonna take a break from this. Like,
Yeah.
it's like how I was playing Catherine as well. Like, I would just do like kind of long bursts of it. Then it's like, okay, I want to take a break from this and move on to something else because it's just puzzle games are fun, but it's one of those things where you could definitely be like kind of burned out on it. It's like, okay, I don't really want to think this intensely anymore. Like,
Right.
but it's fun. It's rewarding. I'm just surprised how much I like the music and the art style of it.
Oh, the music rules.
Yeah,
It's so good.
and I do like that it kind of changes every time you die. I
Does
think
it?
at least I think it does. I feel like maybe the beginning it did, but I don't know. I can't remember now. But
I'll have to pay attention to that because I didn't really notice that, but I just know there's some jams on that soundtrack for sure.
yeah, I mean, that game like surprised me a lot. Like I was kind of expecting to just kind of enjoy it and maybe get like I thought it would just be like okay for a while it would just be like okay this is fun okay, but now it's like I'm actually like digging it as much as like any other indie game that's in the
Yeah.
same kind of scale. uh haven't really checked out the level editor either, so that's another thing I want to try out. But the stages that are there are just fun. The boss stages I think are the most unique. Like I wouldn't even
Oh
think
yeah.
there would be boss stages in a puzzle game as like. Well, I guess that's not necessarily true. There were boss stages in Catherine as well, where you just kind of be climbing a tower while there's like a monster kind of not fucking your blocks up as well. But
Yeah. I think the point of the
yeah,
boss levels is to kind of just do all the things you learned in the past like 8 stages or whatever. I think it's is there 7 or 8 stages before the boss? Doesn't matter.
I think there's 7.
Yeah, but it's like to just employ all the skills you learned. So it does a really great job of all that stuff. So it's like now take everything you learned and do this level.
It, it's like what we talked about in the last few videos, where we were just saying like how games don't really test skills you've learned in games as much, and this
Yeah.
one does it like
Oh, it's
perfectly.
perfect.
Yeah,
It really is like really good. I mean, like I haven't played through the whole thing, right? I think there's going to be 8 worlds. I think I've
yeah.
only gotten to I think I'm up to the fourth world.
Oh, same. I think we're actually like kind of caught up with each other at this point. Like I did only one world in the fourth area because that one
Okay.
it introduces teleportation in it.
I actually might not even have started it then. I think
Oh,
I beat the third boss and I didn't play the next part.
okay. Well,
Yeah.
this one,
So
the first one in that one's like kind of easy, but I'm seeing that I'm like, oh, I know where I think I know where this might go. Like it's probably gonna be
well,
like,
but that's what's brilliant about the game, though. They introduce a
yeah,
mechanic. It's like, oh, I get how this works, and then it's like now you have to figure out how it works with all the other mechanics too.
yeah, like it doesn't just throw past mechanics out. It just
Right.
keeps reintegrating them. Because a lot of games, like even when they test your skill, it's only like exclusive to like one world maybe or two worlds. Then after that, it's like, all right, let's get rid of that, and you're gonna focus on the newer stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, but this one's like, no, you're gonna have to keep this in mind.
It all builds upon each other, right? Because it's like I think the first stage they just introduce like ledge grabbing and like hiding in the shadows, right?
Yeah,
And then the second is where you get the robots, right? Or no, there's cameras in the second, and then robots in the third, right? No, the sensors are in the third.
I think the robots are in the second because I think the
Yeah,
second it's like you're that's when you do the co-op stuff with the robots.
right. Okay, so then I guess they do cameras in the first one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, it's great. I mean, so far it's fucking great. I actually really like it. But and it's exactly so. You can answer this after too. Like, um how does this compare with what your impressions? You kind of alluded to it, but how does this compare to what your impressions were? Like you said, it was like completely not what you were expecting. So I want to hear about
Yeah,
that.
like I thought it would just kind of be at most maybe a platformer and just like oh you're just gonna be going around patrols and doing all this stuff. It does have that, but it's more used to nurture a puzzle aspect to it. Like you have to figure out what order to go to put things. You have to like kind of go around stuff. It's not really testing you on oh can you sneak by to get to the end point. It's more of just like the end point's closed. It will open once you solve this like puzzle. that's there.
Right.
So it's more of a hybrid. So it doesn't really necessarily like lie of like what it is, but it's not like a pure stealth game like Metal Gear is,
Right.
for example, where that's just like you're just going through a area to get to the boss fight or whatever. That was not really even introducing new mechanics. There's mechanics in it, but it's like all kind of thrown at you. Well, this one it's
Yeah.
like uh, it kind of ramps it up each time,
Right.
so it's more like I kind of think it's more like Catherine than like any other stealth game. It's
Well,
just
I
it
think
has
what you're
stealth aspects to it.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is like there's a correct answer to the level. Like in a Metal Gear Solid game or like any like Tenchu or like any stealth game, you can go about beating levels several different ways. But this is kind of like there's a way to beat the level and you have to use the mechanics to beat the level and you have to figure out how to use them to beat the level. Whereas like Metal Gear Solid, you can fucking just go and shoot everyone if you wanted to, or you can
Yeah.
sneak around, or you can like hide and like go down a path that just no one's gonna be at. But this is like, all right, here's the setup, solve the puzzle with your stealth mechanics involved.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel about it. Like I found it, and I also kind of felt more like I was playing Hotline Miami, just by like kind of how gory some of the deaths can be, like for what
Oh,
it
that's
is,
true.
like.
Yeah.
But the
You don't really notice it because it's played for laughs.
yeah, I do
It's
like
like
that.
the clone gets mutilated,
Yeah, I
but
just love
like
that
it's violent. I didn't really think about that until you said that.
because like there are just parts where like you could just have the doors close on you, and that just
Right.
squishes you. There's like blades that like some of the stuff I was just kind of saying to myself, oh, this is just a stealth section, so it's gonna be like a factory. It's gonna be like maybe guns are gonna be there, lasers, sure, whatever. But then it was like, okay, here's a fucking grinder shit. It's like, oh god, like it's
Like
not
the game
like
just insults you.
yeah, like I just left. There were those moments where I died, and the game's like, oh, like they were just gonna give you some quips of like some bullshit, like why how you died, or like it would allude to how you could die. It's like
Right.
so that stuff was just like killing me. I was just like, oh, like I there was one I liked, but I can't think of it now, which fucking
Yeah,
sucks.
it
But
is pretty funny. I think we should take notes when we play these games now because there are some funny ones. But like, and it's so the most annoying thing though is when when they get you and it's like there's no way I would have known if I had not played the game before. So it's like you get killed and they're like, "You're not really trying, are you?" And it's like you knew that I was gonna get killed by you, bastard.
yeah, I would love to know if in the level editor you could just like make custom messages
Maybe.
like that. That'd be kind of cool. Like it. I just want to see like what people can like get away with saying in that. Like if because I just wondered like if there's like better user end sayings that they put in that's more grueling than that. Like this was the kind of like the kind of humor you'd expect in some cases. It's like okay, it's like kind of witty, but I just wonder if there's more like
Just
mean,
racism and
yeah,
fucked up shit.
or just like just saying like just more demeaning, like insulting your
Right.
intelligence kind of stuff too. Like
Right.
yeah, so this game has been like I've been more excited to play this like once a day, just seeing how far I can go or how far I want to tolerate it until I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, let's stop here.
Yeah. It gets to. I mean, it can get frustrating. I don't want to say frustrating because I haven't been really frustrated with it yet. But it's like you get to a point where you're like, okay, I gotta take a break.
Yeah, I feel it with the
Even
boss
though
fights.
it's not that hard, but it is like it's just it's the right amount of challenge. I'd say.
Yeah, I feel it's more like a test of stamina, of like how much you want to like exercise your mind. Because
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like like you can just kind of gun through a level just easily until the boss, and then the boss just kind of is like, oh, okay, I'm gonna stop here. I made it. I because I did the first two levels. I just kind of gunned through until the boss, and then after the boss, I was like, okay, this is a good time to stop. I'll just do the next one the next day. I did in the second level as well. And once I did that, I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I'm just gonna do one a day almost, and see how
Mm-hmm.
far I can stomach it. But uh, it's a good level of challenge where, as I said before, like it doesn't really feel like it's a game that demotivates you if you fail. Like it doesn't like there's no walls to be hit in this game, difficulty
Right. I mean,
wise.
until like just to the point where you're like, okay, I'm done playing for now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're only
That's,
almost halfway through the game,
yeah.
so there might be, and meaning if it's anything, if the pattern stays going right, there's gonna be like 8 more mechanics. I mean, 5 more mechanics that we have to learn. So
Yeah.
it
Oh.
might get to a point where this shit gets really hard.
Yeah, because like even when we did like the sensors, I did the first stage and was like, oh, I could tell what's gonna happen, and by like halfway through that, I was getting exhausted with it. It's like I don't want to do this right now. Like I don't want to sit through the laser. Like it kind of tested my patience. It's like I can't. I like enough of this.
Right. Um, I have to say, for my impressions, it's more like what I thought it was gonna be than I thought it was gonna be. If that makes any sense.
Like it's living up to your
Like
expectations,
it's
right?
it's exactly, and even more so. Like it's exactly like Super Meat Boy, and in some ways just like Battle Block Theater. Like it's kind of like a mashup of those two games in a little bit.
I never played Super Meat Boy, but
You
I
never
could
played
definitely
it?
see the
Fucking impossible.
yeah. That's why I never played it. The only thing I liked about Super Meat Boy is just the idea that you play as meat and then you just kind of like go around and just get and and the game treats you like fucking meat. It's like all right, grinder time.
Yeah, you
Okay,
get slaughtered. You haven't
yeah,
even played the Flash game? Play the Flash game. It's free.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll look at that. The only thing I got kind of burnt out with it is just that the second that it introduced other characters, I was like, okay, this is like
What, Meat Boy?
yeah, like it was fine for a while, but it now is just like I don't even know if anyone even cares for this game anymore.
Right.
Like I just kind of feel like the attention to it is kind of withered
No,
as
people
well.
love that
But
game, man.
okay,
You're just not in the fandom.
yeah, that's probably what it is.
Um, yeah, I don't know, but playing this game makes me think, because like even Super Meat Boy, I didn't really like it that much because it's just like it's just a grueling challenge. Um, but this is making me want to play things like I think the game's called Celeste with the chick that can teleport around. You know
Okay,
what I'm talking about? It's like a
yeah,
platformer.
I've seen
It's
it.
kind of like, yeah, it makes me want to pick up games like this again because it's like, but this one might be just a baby one because it's
Yeah.
more about like patience and stealth gameplay rather than like quick platforming. So there's some of that, but it's not that prevalent. It's
You,
more like,
I think maybe the next game I kind of want to just pick up Transistor again as well because that game I played for a bit, dropped it for a long period of time, picked it up again to beat it, but I never played it like through. Like
what's
in
Transistor? What's it about?
it is a I might have talked about it in another video somewhere, but it is it's a game that's it's made by the same developers who did Bastion, Hades, Pyre. I think it's Pyre, but Transistor is a game where it's like a isometric kind of camera angle, but the combat is a hybrid of action and turn-based RPG. It
Okay.
it's really weird because you have to choose like you have like these cooldown abilities, and that's all you have available. So you have to kind of plan it out. You can slow down time to kind of plan where your character can go, and you can plan it out. Then once you let go of the button, it just kind of plays out. It's a very complicated combat system that like it's very unique. I've not seen a game like play like this at
Yeah, I
all.
have no fucking clue what you're trying to describe to
Yeah,
me.
it's so weird. I'm thinking of it. It's like the only thing I could think of is that you have to like you slow down time and then you just do stuff. And the way that the combat works is like you can mix match each ability you get. So it's really like got like insane what customization you can do. Like it just goes so far beyond what you can do.
Have you ever played the N64 game called Hybrid Heaven?
I never even heard of that. I didn't even know that's an N64 game.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna explain the battle system real quick because this is like what you're talking about right now. Immediately reminded me of it, but like maybe it's not the same thing at all. Hybrid Heaven is a turn-based RPG, but it's also mixed with a fight. It's like plays exactly like Virtua Fighter, except it's a turn-based RPG. So what you do is you move a character around in real time. So it's like you have a one-on-one fight, and you're moving around in real time. And then when you get into the position you want, you press a button, and it pulls up a menu to choose your attack. So it's
Oh.
like so it's like you might try to get behind someone, or like you'll get to the side of them, and then you'll be like throw a left hook, and you just punch them in the back of the head. So it's like it's all about positioning, and like you can get into grabs, and from grabs you can do like different throws and things like that. Is that at all similar to
No.
what you're talking about?
No.
Okay.
It's it's kind of it's I think the idea is close because maybe what it is, it's more of like the menu side of it is you see it like because each button does a thing pretty much. I guess it's kind of like Valkyrie Profile, but
Okay, I played that one.
it's
That one's like, isn't that purely turn based?
I guess the idea of it's not like it's turn based. It's more of like the idea of like each button does a thing. Like square does one thing, triangle does another, and circle does another. Like you have like hotkeys for your attacks. So it's like that. You have enemies that move around in real time that can do an attack, but you can like press a button to either like bring up a shield. You if you have an item that if you have an ability that does that, or you have an ability where it's like you can plant bombs, but if you press like a trigger on your controller, it just slows down time and you can kind of move around and just kind of tell the character, okay, you're gonna move over here, then you're gonna plant the bomb here, then go over there and then slash that enemy. And then once you like let go of that button, the trigger, she does that immediately. And the enemy can also attack you during that whole like motion, but you can just kind of plan around each enemy.
So you tell the commands ahead of time, and then you press a button to execute them.
Yeah, like it's I think it's that, and then there's like a real time side of it where you could play it just like, hey, go there, just mash around, just mash buttons, and you could just get stuff to come out. So you could play it either as a tactician, where you're doing that ability where you're just kind of playing where you want to go and telling the command what to do, or you're just going in just fucking shit up in real time. It's just it depends on what your health and your meter, because I think you have either your health is your I think what it is that your attacks are based on your health meter, I think. So
All
whatever
right.
you
So
do,
how does this relate to what we're talking about right now?
I
How did we get here?
I fucking forgot. I think it was just like you were saying how this game kind of is like unique, self bastard, and I
Mm.
was like, oh, I was thinking ahead with the other game club we could do
Oh, okay.
potentially. So I think I was just thinking ahead, and I got kind of
But so
swept up
what?
with
Okay,
that.
but something about that game made you think of it though. Like
Yeah, it was something you
something
said.
about Transistor reminds you of Stealth Bastard for some reason.
Not maybe not game specific, but I think it was just I think it was your impression of Stealth Bastard
Hmm.
where you were saying like how it exceeded your expectations a little bit. I
Well, let me
maybe
think
not
back to
exceeded,
it.
but
It was just exactly what I thought it was gonna be, but even more than I thought it was. If that makes any sense. Like I was like, it's gonna be like Battle Block Theater or Super Meat Boy, and it's literally like them just mashed up.
oh, you know now I remember. You brought up Celeste, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, and I was thinking like along the lines of an indie game, and that's why I brought up Transistor because that's another indie
Okay.
title, but that's why now that I'm thinking about it, it's like because you mentioned Battle Block Theater, Super Meat Boy, and then you mentioned Celeste. So okay.
Yeah.
So that was the missing link right there.
Gotcha. Yeah, but yeah, it makes me want to try Celeste because I've always been like that game looks awesome, but it looks way too difficult for me to play. But I'm like, fuck it, give it
Yeah.
a try, right? Um, what was I gonna say? Oh, the same people that made um Transistor, are those the same people that made Titan Souls? Have you played Titan Souls?
I haven't heard of it, so I don't think so.
Titan Souls is an indie that's like I probably paid like the first 3 levels of it because it's very difficult. It's kind of like a bullet hell top-down shooter.
Oh, so yeah, it's probably not them because this particular studio, each game they do, it's completely different from the last one. They don't stick to one thing. So like, if you look at their resume, it's literally like each of their games are all different. Like there's not like Hades is a roguelike game that they made, and then the game before that was like a sports game that was also had combat aspect to it as well, which I didn't understand. I looked at a lot of stuff with the game's Pyre, and I was like looking at it, it's like this art style looked nice, but it's like it's a sports game. But every time I hear it's a made up sport. It's like it takes some stuff from soccer, I think, and then it just kind of adds stuff to it that makes it more unique. Like
Okay.
they do a lot of weird stuff with their games. Each game has a different kind of mechanic, each one. So it's
Wait, I want to hear more about this sport though. Like,
I don't know much about it.
you
It's
didn't play it.
no because I just as soon as I saw it's like sports and scores, I was like okay, I checked out.
Whoa! You just automatically say fuck sports games?
I I just can't get into them as much.
Wait. You're missing a lot of shit right. Because you can't say fuck sports games. You can say fuck sports simulation games, but you should absolutely play sports games. Like, you never played like NFL Blitz?
I played that in high school and
You
it
didn't
was
like it?
alright. Yeah, it was. Wait, was it Blitz? I might have blitzed it and I just don't think about it. I might have played it and it was like, oh, okay, whatever, it's a sports game, and I just returned it
You
back to
didn't play
GameFly.
it. If your opinion is that, if your opinion is maybe I played it, you didn't play it. I'm telling you. Or like NBA Jam or NBA Showtime, NBA Hang Time.
I think the only NBA game I've ever played was the was the one that had Mario characters in it. I think it was NBA what
Was it
NBA Street, I think. Yeah, it was Streets. Yeah.
That's a good game. You didn't like that?
I liked NFL Street. That one I liked.
But that's what NFL Blitz is like. Except NFL Blitz is better.
So, maybe I'll like Blitz, maybe.
Yeah, you should try Blitz the League if you can get your hands on it. That's a great game.
Alright.
You just can fucking break people's legs and then you just inject steroids into it and then they're in the next play.
I think Jency talked about that game to me. And I was like
Awesome.
And I was like, "Oh, cool!" And then I was like, I never really played it. I was like, "Oh, cool!" Like,
I highly recommend trying that.
it sounded cool, but I just never had the motivation to get it. I should have gone when I had GameFly, when I had the chance. But speaking,
GameFly. I can't believe you brought up GameFly.
GameFly was it was great. I was able to trade a disc in because like I had a game that had a scratch on it. I was like, oh no, it wasn't even a scratch. I think it was a cracked disc. I think it was one or the other. But I was like, oh, I have GameFly. I'll just rent the game from them, and I switched the discs, and they never like figured it out.
You fucking robbed GameFly?
No, I gave them technically no, because I gave them the same disc. The disc was just not a scratched disc. It was like, okay, I'll switch discs. It's the same game.
What did you do?
So
you rented a game from them, and then you put your broken shit in that game?
Yeah, it was the same game. It was you know what is arm? Everyone's already subbing to it. It's not like,
Okay, tell me the order of operations here. You bought a game, broke it.
No, wait a second. No, I did not break the game. No.
Send it back to
No, you're blaming me for something that I didn't do, by the way. Okay. I had a friend over and he fucked up my disc and he ran off and we stopped talking after that. And I was like, damn, what else am I supposed to do? And there you go, I'm sorry. I'm probably not the only one that did this.
That doesn't make it any better. You took Wait, okay. Somehow a game you owned broke.
It was a scratch disc, by the way. Okay. It can still work.
That doesn't matter. No excuses. I'm trying to figure out what happened. Somehow a broken game was in your possession, a scratched up disc. You rented that same game from GameFly. You took their nice disc, put it in your case, and sent them back your shitty broken copy.
Yeah. What's...
It's okay, Theo. The statute of limitations is over. GameFly is out of business. You can be honest. Is that what happened?
Well, you're acting as if I'm the only one that did this, by the way. I'm sure people... Like, they did...
Don't snitch on everyone else.
I'm not snitching on anyone else. I'm sure everyone did this. Because I've heard stories about this. They even did this with Netflix. I've heard stories about that. The only company that no one did that with was Blockbuster because they fucking barcoded their disc.
Oh my god.
They had Blockbuster had the foresight to be like, these people are gonna fucking trade their disc. Just fucking put a barcode on it. Fuck them. It's like, oh, okay, like.
That's hilarious. Yeah,
but
that's funny.
That does.
64 games with the Blockbuster barcodes on them because when they went out, I remember when Blockbuster went out of business. When was that? Like the one? Do you remember the one in the center?
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
It went out of business. I bought like 50 N64 games for like $1 each.
Oh, so
had all these games with a Blockbuster sticker on them.
You know what? I was like jealous as a kid. Like you could rent a system from there, and I never did. And I was like so jealous. I was like, oh, they have this cool like briefcase with it, and I never bothered with it. But there was this one. So I had a PS3. It was a fat PS3. We were I had like two other friends over, and we were playing Borderlands on it. The PS3 died on me, and it was a slot PS3, so you can't get the disc out. Like we couldn't get it out.
Oh my
god. I had to send the PS3 back to Sony to get that fixed. Whatever. I had to go to Blockbuster.
Did they actually fix it?
Yeah, they refurbished it, but you know on the questionnaire you had to tell them like they said like was there a game in there? And I was like yeah, there's a disc in it, and they're like okay, so they sent the disc back. But I had to tell Blockbuster, look, the game I rented from you is in this console that is dead. So you're not gonna see this disc for like maybe months at this point. So just a heads up.
You need to pay your late fees?
I think Blockbuster understood. It was like, okay, we're just not gonna give you any late fees for this. We get it. It's like okay, cool. But what's funny? There was a girl working there. We left and. I can't pick up any body language at all, and so it's like, Theo, that girl liked you, by the way. I was like, really? What? I was like, yeah, she was like saying, she was like being really kind to you and saying all that. I was like, oh, god damn it. And we just left, and I was like, that was that. I never saw her again.
Maybe that's why she waived your late fees.
Yeah, that
sound like what they would do.
That's probably what it was. Yeah. I was like, because I said there's like, there's no way any store is gonna sit there and be like, oh yeah, fuck you. But I guess it could just be also a lie too. It's like, oh yeah, my console broke, dude. But then this other time, it was Christmas. I asked for Mario Party 5 for Christmas, and I got that. They got my, I think it was either my brother or my parents got that used. And the disc just wouldn't work at all. Like, we'd pop it in, it would go through one turn cycle, and as soon as I tried to load a minigame, it would just stop. And I went to Baltimore with my dad at that time, and I went to the GameStop there and was like, yeah, this disc is, like, not working. And they looked at the back of it, and it's like, dude, it looks like someone put it on the floor and just, like, yeah, like, they put their foot on it, it was, like riding on it, and it's like, what the fuck? They're like, yeah, we'll just give you this game for free. Here's a brand new copy of Mario Party 5. It's like, oh, okay. Like, I had the weirdest luck with GameStop. Like, everyone hates GameStop. They're like, oh, it sucks, fuck them. But every single time I go there, like, it's like, I get the luck of the draw. One time I was there to pick up Injustice 2. I only bought the standard copy of that game. The guy gave me the fucking limited edition, like, Steelbook Deluxe Edition of Injustice 2. And I was like, oh, okay. And I did, because I
didn't say anything?
Yeah. Like, I
love all these unethical Theo stories where you fucking
well, okay, look, is it really unethical if the guy gave me the game that because I paid for Injustice 2 standard, like, up front. But yeah, but it's not my fault that the guy gave me the limited edition. Like,
you could have been like, I didn't buy this. I didn't pay for this.
oh, okay.
Some kid
Look.
came in there and like, oh, I can't wait to get my fucking Batman statue or whatever the fuck comes in it. And then they just had nothing. They're like, oh, we gave it to someone else.
Look, okay, Charles. So you're telling me, let's say you go to GameStop, you got you pre-ordered the digital PS5, and then the guy gave you a disc version of PS5. Are you gonna sit there and be like, this isn't mine? Can you give me the digital, please? Or are you gonna like, oh, cool?
Say, it depends on the day.
Depends on the day.
Because sometimes I would be like, I didn't pay for this. Like, I don't want to ruin someone's day. But let's be like, whatever. They gave it to me.
I mean, I guess that console is like a more extreme example because that is a little bit more money, but like this is like it was a game, and I sat there, I was like, I'm sure they had like tons of copies too. Like I didn't, like I said, there, like, is really anyone gonna give a shit? Like, but like even then, like the guys, let's say that I took someone else's copy, and then they come to that person like, hey, where's my copy? Like, oh, shit, we don't have it. They're gonna make it right. They're gonna be like, oh, here's your money back, and then he could buy the game somewhere else. Like,
you're right.
It's not the end of the world. I mean, PS5 is definitely someone's end of the world, even though, like, okay. So there's a video that I watched. It's a Mega 64 video. There was a video of them like smashing a digital PS5 that they paid for. They didn't like whatever. Everyone like dunked on that video, like, oh, look at them. They could have made someone happy with that PS5. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, when did we like put up consoles as like children almost? Like people are talking about these PS5s like it's a child.
When did this video come out?
November, I think. It was like around the time that the PS5 came out.
I'm getting deja vu from this for some reason. Like, did something very similar to this happen like 2 years ago, where someone like destroyed something that like looking for?
Well, it's like a trend for everything. Like there's always a video of them smashing stuff, but
like smash a Wii or something because
trying
to get them or whatever. Okay.
But Mega 64 doesn't really do that at all. Like they did the last time they did a video like that was for the PSP Go, that they smashed. But the only time they did that video was just because like the PSP Go and the PS5 digital, for example, doesn't have a disc tray, so it's like, all right, we're gonna have this guy. He's gonna buy this thing thinking that it has a UMD slot or a disk drive, so he's gonna try to put a disc and it doesn't work, and he just tries to get it to work throughout the whole video, which leads it to it being destroyed. And then the punchline is that he tries to like trade it back at GameStop, like, oh, this PS5 doesn't work. Can I like trade it? It's like, you gave me like nothing. It's trash. It's like, well, can you give me an Xbox Series S? Yeah, sure. Here you go. Like, but everyone was like this, like dunking on that. It's like, it's a PS5. Like, eventually they're gonna be in circulation again. I mean, sure, it does have to wait, but it's like, I just didn't see like what is like when did we start putting these consoles as if they're children? Like, oh my god, like.
Well, it's probably people just want them, but it's like also these dudes are making videos for entertainment. Like, it's part of the budget.
Yeah.
It's a prop.
Yeah.
Like, if I buy a PlayStation, I could shove it up my ass if I wanted to.
Yeah, well,
it does not. No one can say what I want to do with it.
Yeah, like, I understand. Like, people could be like bummed out about it or disappointed by it or whatever. Like, I get that, but to be like, as if like they made a video of them killing babies, it's like, what the like is this the emotional investment in it? I think is a little ridiculous. Like, you'd be like, oh, this is a dumb video, whatever. But like,
all of that is so weird. Like, the fact that people fanboy over these video game companies is psychotic.
Yeah.
They'll be like, I think Xbox is better. No, PlayStation's better. Who gives a fuck? Shut up. Play your stupid ass games.
Yeah, and then it's like the like, I've seen this in the Persona community a little bit. Like, people have been wanting Persona 5 on the Switch, on Steam. They want it everywhere, and everyone's like, you want on the Switch? Fuck you. It's never going on the Switch. It's staying on the PS4, baby. It's an exclusive. At most, maybe it could go to Steam, but nah, not on the Switch. And it's like, you don't want anyone else to experience this game, like.
Yeah, what? I don't understand that. Like, how can you be so? It's not like you get money off
Yeah.
of like PlayStation 4 exclusives. Like, why do you care?
Yeah, and it's like,
Let everyone play.
and it helps the company continue too. Like it, and this is what I like. This is like an issue with Atlas too. It's like they have all these games, and it's like they could put these games on everything, and they could make extra money, and they just don't do it. Like, Persona 4 Golden was on the PSP on the PlayStation Vita for years and years, to the point where people were like, this game is gonna die with the Vita, and it's gonna fade away. Like the only way you'd be able to play is probably through an emulator. And then they put it on Steam. It's like, oh, then it was like, oh, great, we could buy it and we can like support it. Uh, so it's like, let people play the shit. It's
Okay, I want to touch on something real quick because I want to ask you something, but I don't want to forget this. Do you remember? And this is going way back in our conversation. Do you remember disc resurfacing? When you would, I had this little tool. So when you had a really scratched up disc, you could resurface it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I've seen it around. And I thought it was a scam, so I was like, yeah.
No, it worked. It's
Oh,
great. You take the disc and there you have this little crank machine, but GameStop would also do it like with an automatic machine. And you'd spray a bunch of stuff on this disc and you'd crank it and it would basically sand off the surface and you get down to another layer of the disc and it would
oh.
work perfectly after that. You didn't know about that?
No, I thought, because I looked at that, I was like, oh, I'm sure there's like some like secret like damage this thing does that no one
No.
knows or whatever, but
I mean, it does damage the disc because it literally shaves a layer off of it. But
yeah.
it's basically like if you have like a deep scratch, right? And then you just shave everything down to where that scratch is, the disc works again.
But like, when you lose data from?
Okay, the way
I don't know how disk
the
works.
way
I
CD
guess.
works. What?
I guess I don't know how a disk works. Where's
Okay,
the
the way
information
CD
stored?
works. So you know what the difference between like digital and analog is, right?
Like in what instance? Like,
Like okay, so analog is like a record.
okay,
So the reason a record works is the needle goes and it's going over like the grooves in the record,
yeah,
and that's how it decides what information to play.
right,
The way digital works, so in a record it's like a physical
yeah,
slope, right?
yeah. Okay. Now I know what you mean by analog and digital. Okay.
Yeah, so digital is just zeros and ones. So it's either an off switch or an on switch. So the way a CD works is there's pits and there's I forget what they call them, but it's either a zero meaning there's a pit, like there's a hole, or it's a one and it's filled in. So basically, if you resurface the disc, everything's flat again. So a scratch basically covers up the information, so you can't see if it's a pit or it's a
Okay.
filled in spot.
All
So
right.
if there's a scratch, but if you surface it all the way down, it's all on the same level, so it reads it the same way. But if you resurface it too many times, it doesn't work anymore because you can't tell what's what. It would just all be pits.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's an oversimplification, and I probably butchered it, but that's basically how it works.
All right.
Um, but yeah, it worked perfectly. Your discs would look weird afterwards, but they'd work. So like, and you could do it with any type of CD,
Have you
music, Blu-rays, whatever.
that makes me wonder, like, have you ever seen a PS2 disc? Like the PS2 discs, like they kept marketing like the blue shiny
Yeah,
side.
yeah.
I have never seen a PS2 disc that has that. Like I barely seen it.
No,
No, like they all have normal discs. Every PS2 game I had.
this makes me want to. Do I have PS2 games here? I want to see because I'm pretty sure I remember that it was purple because PS1 games were black
What?
and PS2 games were purple, right?
I don't even remember that.
Well, I have PS. Wait, hold on. I'm
All
doing this
right.
right now. One second.
All
I'll be
right.
right back.
All right. Now, welcome to my show. The guest has left. So actually, in reality, guys, Charles, he's a fake gamer. He's
You better not shit about me in there, Theo.
no, I'm not. I'm not saying anything. Except
All right, I don't have any PS2 games.
oh, see,
But I do
fake
have
gamer. I
PS1
knew
games.
it.
I have have Spider-Man, and I have Tomba. I have some other shit over there too, but check it out. Black.
Oh, okay. Oh, they should have kept that. I never had a PS1. I only had a N64, PS2, GameCube, then a 360 and onwards and all that.
PS1 ruled, dude. See, Spider-Man, Black Disc.
Ah.
And then the PS2 games are purple. Or like a weird like violet,
dark
violet something.
I might have had one game that was that, but I think like not a lot of the game companies did that afterwards. I think it was like that for a while, and then they just kind of dropped it, and then they don't do it at all anymore. Blu-ray should have had a blue disc the whole time. I mean, that was a gimme, and they didn't even do it.
What are Blu-rays? Are Blu-rays just regular?
They're just a normal disc, yeah. I mean, I think the only thing that's different is the disc is a little bit more thicker. Like it feels like there's more weight to it, and it has like a more like deeper shine, I guess.
Well, there's a thing, and I don't remember how this works exactly, but there's Blu-rays and DVDs, I think, that are dual layer.
Yeah.
Meaning they hold like twice the amount of information, and I think it's based on I think it's like literally thicker because it has 2 layers of information on it, and somehow the laser knows how to read either side of it. But don't quote me on that. I don't fucking know how it works.
Yeah, MGS4 was a dual layer Blu-ray.
What's that?
MGS4 was a dual layer.
Yeah,
disc.
of course it was. It was 70 hours of cutscenes.
Yeah, and uncompressed audio. Like
yeah.
they like when that game was being made, they hyped that up as like, oh, the audio's uncompressed. You're gonna have like perfect audio in this. It's like, oh, okay, like. I mean, I guess that's like for people who have like fancy like sound systems.
But even then, you can compress it, and it still sounds fine. Like
yeah, well, it's for the audio files.
Whatever. Archiving that game is gonna be a pain in the ass.
It's funny. People were like expecting this to be on Xbox like at some point, but like, Kojima like straight up said like this will never be on any other platform at all. Period. Because the way that game was made. It was on that cell processor specifically. Like that whole engine's designed around that processor exclusively. So it'd just be a pain to just kind of port over to another infrastructure. Which is kind of sad because Sony banked so much on that cell processor. Like they hyped that shit up. It's like, oh, it's a great processor. It's so unique. And everyone hated it.
Like I don't understand. I remember, like, I didn't remember it until you just said it, but I do remember that marketing of like it's got the cell processor. It like they advertise it as if like it makes the world more alive because it can keep track of like.
Yeah, like it kept saying that it can think, and like,
yeah,
what does that mean in the realm of like technology? What does thinking really mean? Like, my computer thinks.
And they marketed it with those weird commercials with like the baby that.
Oh God.
Shit. Do you remember that?
Yeah, those I'm sure people have like PTSD over that. The one ad I liked a lot of was it was like a black blob, and it would just kind of show games. Like it was just like it would just go straight to the point, but it had like it played to the song of "Ladies and Gentlemen." I was like, "Ladies and gentlemen," dun, dun, dun. And it would just be like this like fucking rock music, and I was like, okay, this is like nice, I guess. Whatever.
I remember that one.
Yeah, that had a run for like maybe a year, and then they ran Kevin Butler into the ground. After that,
I don't remember that one either.
Oh, Kevin Butler was like, it was funny for like maybe a day. It was just a guy pretending to be a Sony CEO. It was like, oh yeah, I heard you guys don't like $5.99, so I said I fired those guys, and now we made it $3.99. Like,
I know exactly what you're talking about now.
And then they had this E3 press conference where, like, this was a year where everyone was doing shitty ass fucking press conferences, and Sony was like, all right, we're gonna just like talk about like boring shit that has no release dates, and the game suck. We have Wonder Bread here. What's up? And then they thrown Kevin Butler on the stage, and he just sat there and talked about nonsense for the whole time. It's like, what was the point?
Them so hard. What did they do to you?
E3 just sucked, and it's coming back, and it's bullshit. These digital presentations that they've been doing are slightly better, except for Sony's. Nintendo was doing it way better in the with digital press conferences, but it's just Sony is great for the games. I like the Japanese games that they get mostly, and all that stuff. I like their products, but is there some of their decisions and some of the stuff that they do is just so like, why? Like I can't follow the logic with half the stuff that they decided. Like, there was an article last week saying that with the PS5, like if the internet goes down or whatever for whatever reason, you'll never be able to play your games again. Like it, you load up a game and it's like, why is this going on? Like, it's fucking bullshit. Like they're shutting down the store as it is, so it's like it's like plain obsolescence. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, people don't shit on Apple, like, oh, Apple, they want to milk the money, they want to take your money. This is more money grubby than fucking what Apple does. Apple's only money grubby in like in the products that they just sell straight up. But like, you could just buy an iPhone, run that shit for 10 years, and be fine with it, and then be like, okay, now it's time to upgrade. Fucking this shit, okay, we're gonna just kill the store for the PS3 and PSP. You don't need to buy games anymore. Fuck that. Close that shit off. And it's like, okay. And now with this, it's like, so if they ever decide, let's close off the PS5 store because you have the PlayStation 8 around, what's the point? And it's like, oh, so what if there's games that didn't get ported over 1,000 times? Unless you want to buy the games every console gen.
Yeah, I think at that point, people are going to be a lot smarter about this. The consoles are going to die soon. Like, at least in the way they are. Like, they're going to be... Each generation is just going to get closer to computers. And they're just going to not do what they do anymore. Because, like, I said this at one point when we were talking, like, you can buy a computer. If you bought a top-of-the-line computer 10 years ago, you're still using it to play top-of-the-line games right now.
Yeah. It's a good future-proof kind of thing too, but
yeah,
like, I don't necessarily think consoles are. I don't agree that consoles are gonna necessarily die because there will always be people that are just like, I don't want to fucking have the headache of building a computer or that shit. Console's always gonna be the cheaper option, but I do think that these decisions are just kind of a peak and valley kind of thing. Like it's just, I think it's gonna go in cycles. I think in time. Because this dude that's running, I think it's like his name is like Jim Ryan, and he has been going on record saying that he doesn't understand backwards compatibility. He doesn't see why we need to care for that. Yeah, but that guy, I just have a feeling he's gonna be like he's gonna leave Sony at some point. There's no way he's gonna just stay there until the day he dies. But he's gonna leave at some point. The decisions are gonna change at some point because like there was even a point in before this the PS3 where they had Phil Harrison, who was making like other bonehead decisions, like, "Oh, we're gonna make the PS3 a media player, a central hub for movies and this and that," which drove the cost up. Oh, we don't need Rumble. Rumble is dumb. We're gonna move past that. So, but that was actually they were covering up that they were in a lawsuit with the company that did the DualShock controllers. So
right.
they're like, yeah, we can't. No, we don't need Rumble. Fuck it. But
liars.
Then Phil Harrison left, and he's not there anymore. He wasn't there anymore. Then there was a boom for Sony making these good decisions during the PS4 period, and then now we're stuck with Jim Ryan. So I think I think with PC, there's no concern of if you have one CEO dude just come in and be like, fuck this. There's not really a risk of that because there's all these storefronts now. Steam is just like, hey, fuck it. Here you go. We don't care. Have fun. While Sony with consoles is more like you're stuck with the company that's running that console, and they can decide what they want you to do with it.
Yeah, that's what I think they're gonna die because here's the nail in the coffin. Think about from PS3 to PS5. Is the jump really that impressive?
I think it is. Like,
you do.
I played a PS3 game, and like I played MGS4, and then I played like Spider-Man or Horizon Zero Dawn, and it's like night and day. It's like, oh, this like it
What about
there is a difference.
what about it is so impressive to you?
It's a little bit more fluid with some of the animations. Some of the textures are more like they pop a little bit more. Like there's it's more smooth. Like it runs at a better frame rate. Like a PS3 game can run like between like 20 to 30 frames, for example, maybe even less than 20 in some cases. While with PS4, it can run to like 30, maybe 60, but like it kind of averages to 50.
Besides the frame rate, what is that impressive? Because I'll tell you, this is where I am. If you look at from PS1 to PS2, that is shocking. And like even N64 to GameCube, Saturn to Dreamcast, it's shocking how much better it is. Like completely different experience. Like those games, if you look at it like a Dreamcast game or a PS2 game, those games still look impressive to me, at least to me.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, well,
they look amazing. And then like you look at a PS1 game and it looks like dog shit.
well, I
They've
think.
never had a jump that's that impressive since.
But okay, so then what's the jump with PC? Like what's like I know that PC can do a lot of crazy shit. I mean, I'm not saying that necessarily PC is like, oh, it's just like a PS4. Like it's something like that, but I because I think it's just that the jump with consoles are a little bit more subtle in the sense that they're still going to try to find cost efficient parts to make these consoles to sell. I mean, they're not going to be like high end PCs. They're never going to compete with that. But
But that's not the point. The point is, but I mean, maybe I'm wrong because what I'm saying is the jump in like the technology has not been that impressive in the past.
Okay.
To me, has not been that impressive in the past 3 generations. And technology, it just gets smaller and smaller. Like your cell phone can play like PS3 era games just beautifully because it's just the technology just gets smaller and smaller and you can fit more and more in a smaller package. So it's like these consoles are useless because they're not doing anything that much more impressive. So it's like what's the point? Like I really don't think the jump from PS4 to PS5 is that impressive. It's like whatever.
But a lot of people said that.
Maybe this is I play on PC. I'll have to say.
Well,
because it's all the same to me.
Yeah, because the thing with PS4, people were saying that when PS4 first came out, like, oh, what's the difference? It looks just like a 360 game. Whatever. But then you have like games like Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us 2, and like a lot of games that came out like this year for the PS4 all looked like really good. So I think we're not gonna see any of that with PS5 until like maybe halfway to the end, which is kind of like whatever. But
what I'm saying though is put those games against the later games in the Xbox 360 or the PS3 library. Like the jump is still not that impressive. I don't think so, but I it's all subjective, I guess.
Yeah.
But I just don't think it's that impressive. And then they make you fucking buy all your games again when you can play on the computer, and I can play games from fucking 1993 all the way up. I can play every fucking PlayStation 2 game on PC if I want. It's illegal, but I can do it.
Well, the way that Jim Ryan runs Sony, he's supporting emulation. He's a big supporter, dude.
Good.
But, he should just say like, backwards compatibility, that's stupid, just emulate. He should have just said that instead. He said it like in a polite way by saying, I don't get the point of backwards compatibility, and that was it. Like that was like the polite way of saying that. But
I'm with him. Let's go.
I laughed there earlier. Like Reggie retweeted Reggie Fils-Aimé, which was another Nintendo guy that retired. He retweeted Nintendo Nintendo like put some tweet saying like, oh, what old game are you playing or whatever this weekend? And it's like, oh, I'm playing Mother 3, and everyone's like, oh, Reggie, he's supporting emulation. Look at that. And I'm like sitting there, I'm like, this dude probably has like a special copy of Mother 3 from Nintendo that they gave him. Like, oh yeah, here. But it's a secret campaign to get Mother 3 localized. Probably. They probably were like hoping that that Nintendo would see that and like, okay, we should localize it.
But it's like who gives a shit because the fucking fans already did it.
Yeah, but I guess it's more like they want an official release so that way like
Official release,
yeah, because I think that like there's a point where people do want to officially support products. Like they might not want to go through the through emulation, be it as easy as it could be, or whatever. But people just want to support companies. So it's like, yeah, just port it. I want to support this product. Just put it out there and I'll throw money at it. But like, it's just like that's why I get why people emulate and why people pirate. It's like that's why I never really get the argument of like, oh, if this happened, blame piracy. It's like no. Just fucking put the thing out. No one cares. Like, and half the time when people pirate, it's just to see if they like the thing in the first place. Like,
yo, Nintendo is so fucking stupid. Do you know how much money they'd make if they were just like, all right, we're gonna put out every N64 game on the what's the virtual
Switch?
console?
Oh yeah,
and just make it like $10 and you get Volume 1, which is like 20 games. And it's like you could put a bunch of shit in there that no one would ever play anyway.
it's free money.
$10.
Yeah, like
It's so stupid.
they even have like a service for like NES and Super Nintendo games on their console on the Switch, and it's like
Pay monthly.
yeah, and it's like
Yeah.
people would be willing like and their online subscription service is the cheapest in the game. It's $20 a year, and it's like and you get like the NES and SNES games have a decent library for the most part. I mean, they've been adding dumb shit like oh wow a football game no one knows about or cares about. Oh, this game like. But other than that, like the library, like they have good games to back it. Where it's like, fuck it, who cares? I can play Link to the Past.
They do this right now?
Huh?
They do this right now?
Yeah, they have like if you pay like 20 on a year, you get like online multiplayer. You get like a free library of NES and SNES games. But
not all of them.
No, but they keep adding them over time. But they do add online multiplayer to each one. So you can take.
Right, this might get me to buy a Switch.
Yeah, it's a nice system. Like, so it's a nice library. It's a nice suite. It's not. It's kind of like what Neril said about it in a video of his that he did a while back as well. Where he's like, yeah, it's a decent suite of emulators, pretty much. Like you can rewind, you can do save states, all this stuff that's everywhere. But it's enough to be like, okay, I could pay $20 a year and be okay with this. But they could just add N64 and like GameCube games. Like GameCube games wasn't even added on the Wii U Virtual Console, which is like why they added DS and Game Boy Advance, but they didn't add GameCube, which is fucking stupid.
Yeah, it just seems such a no-brainer to just put the games on there.
Yeah.
People want to play them. Like, you know what game I want to play really bad, but I don't know how to find a copy of it? Is that fucking Wario game for GameCube.
Oh, dude. I played that, I rented that, and I couldn't figure it out, and I returned it. I thought the game was awful. It was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing.
I think it's made by Platinum Games.
Yeah, I think so too. Because I think once I found that out, I was like, oh, I should have got it again and tried it. But I was like saying to myself, I should have given it another chance. Like I think I was like too young and I just didn't give a shit. I was like, fuck it. Like, but now it's like, oh, I want to try because like I was such a bad gamer, like as a younger person. Like I got lost in MGS3. I died in the quicksand pretty quickly, like whatever. But it's like now it's like I can figure stuff out. Okay, like so like. That's why I didn't really care for I think it was like Wario.
Something about stealing coins.
Yeah, I think it's like Wario World. I think because I think Wario Land was the Game Boy games and World was the one on GameCube.
World. Yeah.
But I played WarioWare and those were that was fun.
Cool. Yeah.
But the one I owned was Smooth Moves for the Wii, which was good, but it was very quick. Like it just kind of wore out its welcome fast. But I like that one. I like the Wind Waker games that they put into it. It's like, oh, cool, like, just fucking do this. But, They don't do WarioWare games anymore, which is lame. They should do more.
Yeah, that game's fun.
Same with Mario Party,
Moral of the
like
story is Nintendo, put your fucking old games on the thing. And I would buy a Switch right fucking now if they told me I could play every N64 game on it.
yeah, like oh man, and I think like even Rare would be fine with adding fucking Conquer at this point too.
Probably not. Probably not.
Well, they added Banjo to Smash.
Wait, they added yeah, but that doesn't count. We talked about this last time. It doesn't count because they have to pay royalties to Microsoft is involved in this.
Yeah, well,
so it's just like they're paying Konami for Snake. They're paying Microsoft for Banjo. It's not the same thing as having the whole game come.
Well, yeah, but then when people buy the game, that goes to the royalties.
Yeah, I think it's more complicated than that. With that, it's just too many greedy motherfuckers involved.
It's more complicated with GoldenEye. Like that.
Yeah, because there's a movie company involved.
Yeah,
it's
a three-way mess.
Yeah, it's a deadlock.
Oh man.
So,
I think.
How did we get here again?
Well, I think we said all that had to be said about Stealth Bastard, and we just kind of trailed off from that because, like, Stealth Bastard is an indie game that's like there isn't much to say about it, like because like with Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night, that one is like okay, there's like a story, there's like all the stuff that's in it. Well, this one it doesn't really have a story unless it's gonna pull off a super hot move where it's like by the end there's a story.
I was gonna say, I kind of think they're gonna do that. They're gonna sneak some story. It's gonna be like Portal.
Okay.
Some story in slowly as we go, but we'll see. I mean, there hasn't been much of that, but like the beginning, the first level where like there's all the clones and they murder one for no reason, and like two.
Oh
yeah,
that like I totally forgot. I saw that and I was expecting those to be like gameplay mechanics, like oh these are gonna be the sentries that I'm gonna sneak by, but
that was some
well,
weird story stuff. So I think there's something going on, but they just and I like that. I wish more games were like that. I hate when they smack you in the face with story. I'm immediately like I don't care about this anymore.
Or that
I want to play and then get invested in the character and be like, okay, now that I give a fuck, let me like start playing and like now tell me this backstory because I've already been playing and I care now.
I would like a game that flips the script where you either expect a story or you expect the story that it kind of gives you, and then it just changes the story immediately, like to something that's the opposite of what you're expecting. Like No More Heroes 1 kind of does that. Like the whole game, it just tells you, okay, you just want to be number one. You're just killing people, just be the top of the leaderboards, and then and then at the end it's like, oh, actually you're doing this because there's a revenge plot in here, and this person's coming to kill you because you have this hat. Is like, whoa, what? And it just kind of drops it.
That's what I want. I fucking don't want a 15-minute intro cutscene to know the world. Fuck the world. I want to fucking start playing, and then if I like the game, then I want to know the story.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit about any of this stuff.
And I think like a lot of these stories that are in games, they kind of underestimate the medium, because I think like world building is important for storytelling, like with shows, movies, where they have to spend time to explain the stuff that's showing you. But a game you're playing in that world, like you could just kind of experience it as you're going, and that kind of builds upon that. Like you could have a cutscene about like, oh, here's the character, he gets up in bed or whatever the fuck. But like, I think it's just that a lot of these games are starting to it's kind of falling into what Marvel has done with their movies, where like Iron Man came out and everyone's like, oh, what a great movie, great action film, oh, yippee. And then Iron Man 2 comes out, oh, that's okay, whatever. But more and more of these Marvel movies started to come out, it's like, oh, okay. They all start to bleed together. Oh, there's action. Oh, there's a green screen of... Yeah, all start... Like, there's nothing unique about them anymore. And that's kind of why, like, since I'm mooching off my brother's Disney Plus account, I watched WandaVision, and that was like, oh, this is actually unique. It's actually refreshing because it's like, oh, we're gonna go through each like era of sitcom TV and tell like a tiny thread of mystery through that, and it's like, oh, okay, this is like interesting. And then by the end, it was like, okay, this is like a Marvel movie. I checked
Yeah,
out
the
after
ending
that.
was really disappointing to that. I don't
Yeah.
know what like it was just I don't know what I wanted it to be, but it was just very like eh, to me at the end.
Yeah, like I think they kind of pulled the mystery way too early. Like it was like because like I was listening to someone talk about this and they were comparing to Westworld from HBO. And Westworld, like the whole show is told as like, okay, it's a Western show. You have these animatronics and that's it. Like you kind of like figure that out. But at the end, it's like, okay, actually, these machines are gonna turn sentient. They're gonna fuck everyone up. It's like, whoa, what the fuck? Like,
I
it,
didn't think that was unexpected though. Like I thought
well,
I
I guess what I okay, maybe in the sense that the idea of them being sentient was a no brainer, but it's more of just like uh there was something that maybe it was the second season this person was talking about that kind of flipped the script on it, but whatever. There was something there that was giving an air of mystery of what's going on behind the scenes, and then like by either the end of the first or second season, maybe it was the second season, it
it might
kind
be the
of
second because I haven't watched it yet.
yeah
But the
because
first season I thought was brilliant.
Yeah, because they explained something that was like a key thing in the first season. Like, oh yeah, this. I think it had to do with Bernard. I think they revealed something with him that
Is
you
he the
wouldn't
scientist
expect.
that like created them?
It's like the black dude.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
The one that like basically created the whole world, right?
yeah. But
Yeah.
there was something else with him that was also like, oh, actually, this is going on. But uh, this is one of it was just a they revealed the secret of the whole thing too fast, and the villain wasn't even like cool. It was like, oh, okay, it's this dude. Like, I appreciated the idea of like, oh, it's gonna be this background character you see in like a few episodes, but it's like, I don't know. I kind of expected something else, or at least something more grounded. Like, I kind of just hated the witch shit. It's like, oh, okay, witches.
I don't know. I thought they could have went. I was into it until the last like two episodes, and then I just think they just didn't really tie it up very good. Like I was still into it. I don't think they revealed it too early, but I just thought they didn't conclude it very well.
Yeah, like because like I mean, you have like a character like Vision that was like, oh, this they had like a chemistry thing going on, and it just kind of ends like these kids are like him and the kids are like okay with dying. Like Vision, I can understand, I guess, because he's like,
That was part of what bothered me about it. Was that I was like, it was basically like the whole thing was just to create this whole complex scenario where they can just have Vision alive again. Because the
yeah,
White Vision, he did that whole like the ship of whatever thing with him, and he
yeah,
was basically like, "You're me, remember that." And then he dies, but now there's like another Vision out there that is him. So it was like the whole point of the story was to bring Vision back to life without
yeah.
actually bringing him back to life.
But it's funny because a lot of comics do that though. Like you have all these like other copies of another character, and then but there's like a slight tweak to them, like that because that fake Vision was made by the government. So he might be like, yeah, I'm Vision, but he might also realize I have fucking power. I can fucking be bad guy if I want. I can say
But
fuck the Avengers too. Like he
what
could,
what he did, and I remember exactly the quote in the conversation. He was basically said to him like, "You're me," because he's like, "I have to destroy you," but like he's like, "How can you destroy me when you are me?" And he like gave him his memories or something. So like he basically just is him now. I don't remember. It just was like I was like, okay, this whole thing was set up just to bring him back to life,
yeah.
to
No,
make him be in
I
the movies.
well, no, I agree with that. I just think like probably if I don't know if there was a comic of this either, because I think maybe in the comic they might have made a copy Vision because I feel like that they would have done that. Like uh in Justice League, for example, the whole Cadmus thing in the Unlimited series, like they made like copies of the Justice League that was supposed to be like a deterrent to the Justice League. And I feel like that this Vision was gonna just be another version of that. Like, oh, he's just gonna be Vision, but it's gonna be not in line with the Avengers. Like, he's gonna be their foil. But I don't know. Like, and also I didn't understand the ending either. Like, that woman gets called into the movie theater, and she's like, oh, dude up there said hello or whatever. It's like, who is that? Like, Thanos, like I saw a picture of him at the end of like one of the Avengers movies. It's like, okay, big dude. But this dude,
He's
it's
a
like
Skrull.
I I don't know what that
I
is.
think they're trying to
Like,
set up. They're trying to set up the thing where all the Skrulls replace people.
okay, you know what? Maybe I'm just not a Marvel nut. I don't really
Yeah, whatever.
care, but
Oh, question about Stealth Bastard. Getting back to the original subject.
all right.
Have you replayed any levels
No.
after you already beat them? Okay, so did you notice that there's like obviously you did, but like there's different suits you can select?
Yeah.
I don't really know how it works, but I think every time you beat a level, you unlock a new suit. And I think
Okay.
that's how you get like because like there's like a stealth camouflage suit. But
Yeah.
I think it's level 3 times to get it or something like that.
Because I think I got that, and I was like wondering where I could equip it, but I guess it's for replaying that you get to do that.
Yeah, you replay and you get it. So I wonder if that's like how you get all like because I don't remember what they are, but you can get secret items. You know what
Yeah.
I'm talking about?
Yeah. There's some like scattered in the levels that you could see as well,
Yeah,
right?
so I
Yeah.
wonder if like you need the special suits to do it.
I think some you do. I think maybe it's probably like some other games that like have secret collectibles. They it's like, oh, some of them will be easy to get, some of them you'll need to come back to get. But these kind of games I don't really feel the need to go back to. Like
What do you mean? You got to go back and get all A's.
I don't know. I don't like that pressure. Like I just want to play the game as I feel like it. I don't know. Like the only game I did do that for was Hollow Miami for a bit because if you get like all the secret letters, you unlock more stages. Uh
What? I didn't know this.
yeah, dude. I think I don't know if it might add a story too. I think there's like a secret epilogue if you get all the
Fuck, I
letters.
gotta play Hotline Miami again then.
Yeah, you know what? I think you do because I think that because I think if you collect the letters, it goes into this whole subplot of like why the phone is like a what the whole thing is going on with the phones and all this other. You get like another like story with it.
Now I'm wondering if I already did this. I'm gonna have to play again, and hopefully my cloud save still exists, so I can just like pick up where I left off.
Yeah,
I'm playing that right after this too.
because you do see like because I think if you just play like initially without collecting all the letters, you do see like the phone areas. You do play as the baker guy, but I think there's a line of dialogue that you don't get at all. Like they're like, oh, well, you don't know the story. That guy just dies. But if you get all the letters, he's like, you know what's going on here, and then they just kind of explain a little bit more. But it's
Oh,
something
and then
like
there's like
that.
different. You like go into a basement at the end, right?
Yeah, I think in that basement, depending if you have the letters or not, because the dude logs into a computer, and
Yes.
if you have all the letters, you have the password to log in. But if you don't have the letters, he's not gonna log in, and it's gonna be like, oh, and it ends. Like that part is where it changes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out and see if I already did it because I don't remember that, but we'll see.
Hollow
All
Miami
right,
2
what do you say?
doesn't
We
do any of
call it
that. Yeah, I think it's a good time before we do. It's like an hour and 23 minutes. This one.
20.
So
We only did 23
no,
minutes.
an hour 23.
Oh, that's a good time.
I think before we start talking about all these other stuff, and we talk about Self Bastard, I think that was a hard like 20-minute talk.
And then we just started rambling
Yeah.
about other shit.
Well, I think like it's nice to have a video that's like kind of going, talk about the game that we've been playing, and then maybe other stuff too.
I'm down to talk shit. I
Yeah.
don't care.
I mean, it's a game club. I mean, we're talking about game stuff anyway.
Yeah, come on, guys. Get on
Yeah.
board.
Oh, and no one submitted
Yeah.
into this one,
So
so
no one watches to the end is what the moral of the story is.
yeah, no one want or that or no one wants the game. Yeah, maybe they're scared too. Maybe they're just like this game doesn't look good.
Hey, it's a good game.
And now they know. Now they know. Maybe they're gonna regret not participating. So we got them for the next one that we might never do.
Why don't we just say every time, just comment Solidus did nothing wrong until someone does it.
All right. So fine. You know what? We'll do it another week. But that this is it. This is the last Hail Mary you'll get, guys. If you don't get it, because like we can't, we can't keep doing it every time. We gotta have a hard limit on this stuff. Actually, no, fuck it. I'm vetoing it. Fuck it.
Fuck 'em. But still, comment Solidus did nothing wrong.
Yeah. If you made it this far, comment that. So, all right, that's it.
Classic.
Yeah. Bye bye.